Hi and welcome everyone. How are you? Hope you all are doing well today. So we're just going to start off today with the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 of the Mississaugas of the Credit. So we're just going to go over some of the virtual homekeeping stuff. So first things first, there's guidelines that run to keep the housekeeping virtual sessions run smoothly. Make sure you log into Zoom to view the presentations. Activating your video is optional, it's not mandatory. Please be sure to mute your device if you are not presenting. If you have any questions, you can definitely ask in the chat, or if the presenter asks, then you can one by one unmute if you need to. During the workshop, the presenter will mute all program participants. That's just to make sure that the program runs smoothly and there's no noise coming from the participant sides. Hosts will manage the presentation, use comment box if you have any questions. Participants will have the opportunity to ask questions and hear from the presenters. Finally, due to technology, some interruptions may occur. Please be patient and let's have a lot of fun.
Hey.
So I'm just going to introduce Jed with the City Reduce and Reuse program. He's just going to come and just say a few words.
Happy Earth Day, everyone. Good morning. My name is Jed. I'm with the City of Toronto Solid Waste Management Services team. Basically, this program is part of the City of Toronto Solid Waste Management Services Community Reduce Reuse programs, also known as CRRPs. The main objectives of CRRPs is to reduce waste and build sustainable communities by, one, providing opportunities to reuse, share, and repair items. 2, offering skills training. 3, creating spaces for community members to gather. Today, we're going to be hearing from our sewing repair hubs, and today is going to be facilitated by Delta Family Resource Center. Just to give you a little context, the sewing repair hubs provide workshop spaces to encourage repair and reuse of clothing and other textiles to help reduce the amount of textiles discarded each year. Program activities include regular instruction of the basic of alterations and repairs and opportunities to make and design clothes from repurposed textiles. The program also provides an opportunity for residents to access tools, equipment, and supplies needed to repair their own clothing. Just to give you some stats, for the year of 2020, we were able, over 1,379 kilos of clothing and textiles were able to be diverted from landfills, and we were able to host 504 sewing classes throughout the year of 2020. Considering that it was a pandemic, it was actually a banner year for us because we were able to pivot our program virtually. So basically, just to let you know, the City of Toronto actually has 4 sewing repair hubs across the city, and we partner with the following agencies to deliver the programs across the city. We have one in Weston Mount Dennis, which is spearheaded by one of our strategic partners, Progress Place. The second one we have is closer to the downtown area, which is in Alexander Park community. It's actually spearheaded by Scadding Court Community Center. And we also have another sewing hub at Thorncliffe and Flemo, and it's basically spearheaded by the neighborhood organization. And finally, today we're going to be hearing from our 4th sewing hub, which is in Rexdale. And as I mentioned, it's going to be Delta Family Resource Center. I just want to thank everybody for participating today on Happy Earth Day, and I'm going to let Bindya take it away.
Thank you, Jed, and welcome everyone. We are so excited. The day has just started, and you have the whole day. Actually, there's so many workshops happening till 5 o'clock, and we all are looking forward for you people enjoying the beautiful day. I know it's a little bit cloudy, but we all are indoor due to COVID, and we are making the most of this online workshops happening today. So I'll just now start off. My name is actually Bindya, and I work for Delta Family Resource Center as a sewing hub lead. And this program is in the partnership, just like how Jed said, it's with the Reduce and Reuse program. And that is held by actually City of Toronto. And we thank Black Creek Community Farms for organizing this event and making us a part of that. And so welcome everyone. And I do see a lot of participants from my own sewing online classes. Welcome everyone. Very happy that you people got up early to join us. So let's start off. And just like how I said, I think so I can now share the screen. Allow me sharing the screen so I can use my second camera. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So now I'll be using two cameras, so any of my demo happening, you will be seeing it through the second one. And if anybody has any question, you can put it in the chat box or you can ask me. And just to let you know what exactly we'll be doing, if you people must have seen my video that we had sent and what exactly we are going to make today. This is actually from an old bath towel. We are going to make a beautiful hand towel, which you can use it in your washroom or in the kitchen. That's totally up to you. This actually towel was cut from my old towel. So I can just show, just for that video, I basically cut an old towel to make the sample to be shown. And today I have a second towel because this was I couldn't get the length for the right standard size of the towel. So I cut a new one. This is again from my old towel. So I cut it from here. Okay, this is really worn out. It's a little bit faded too, but that's what our purpose of city program is, that we have got to repurpose what we are not using. It's just lying around. You just make something useful for it. So that's what the city program is all about, reduce and reuse. Okay, so I did send the standard size of the towel, and just to let you know, whoever hasn't seen that, it's actually 17 by 28 inch. Okay, so 28 inch was the length of the towel and the width was 17 inch. Okay, so that I've already cut that just to save time. So this is already cut, and I did cut a strip of fabric, which would be something like this. Okay, that will be sewn into the towel. So I already gave that size also. This is actually 4-inch wide, and the width is the same like the towel, 17 inch. Okay, so you can grab any kind of fabric. It can be embroidered, it can be a simple woven fabric, but generally I avoid stretch fabric because towel is always a woven one, non-stretch fabric. So that's what we are going to use. Okay, and I do have a lace to go with it. So this would be the lace that we'll be using to put it on it. And after that, we'll be doing a zigzag sewing. So basically, it's a combination of few different things, the features that we can use from the sewing machine, which I've already actually taught in my online classes. So most of my class participants, they're already aware of it, what's going to happen. But anybody new coming in, I have Sangeeta coming in for the first time. So you will get to learn what exactly this, just a domestic machine can give, the different various kind of stitches, features, and all that. So you'll basically get a little bit introduced to it. Okay, so just let's start off and take out your fabric out, the towel that you've already cut. Okay, So take that out, and I'm going to switch the camera. Before I start off, I did get a request that some people may not have a sewing machine at home. So what we can do is we can use a needle and thread, and still we can function it exactly like a sewing machine. So what exactly do you do? So let me just show you first how you do that back. It's called back stitch. Okay, so when you don't have a machine, you can do a stitch looking like a sewing machine stitch, which is something like this, okay? Something like this. So this is actually the sample which I did the hand sewing class. So I still have all the hemmings, I still have the back stitch, I have the buttonhole which I'd given the demo for all the newcomers who were still new to hand sewing. So this was a part of it. So this is what it looks like, a sewing machine. I'm using a wool and a thicker fabric just to show you the effect. Okay, I can't use a thin thread because then you can't observe how exactly my movement is happening. So just for the demo, I'm using a woolen thread and a thicker contrast fabric so that you can see the stitch. Okay, so if you don't have a sewing machine, it can still function like one. So what I would say that you can just take your regular sewing thread and a needle and just watch me how I'm doing it. So suppose I've got to start from here. Okay, my stitch is going to start from here. I start a little bit ahead because it's called a back stitch. So every time you're sewing, you're moving from down the needle and you're bringing it back. Okay, so that's why it's called a back stitch. So let me do the demo. So I'm starting a little bit away from my starting point. So I'm going to go like this. Okay, the knot is already done. In the back of my thread, this is all done just to save time. We have got to finish the towel within this 2 hours. So that's why I have everything ready. So I took this stitch out from here. It's a back stitch. So I need to go back. Okay. So whatever stitch length you want. Okay. If you want the length to go a little bit shorter or longer, that's totally up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm going to take a stitch exactly the same size that I have shown over here. So I'm going to take it back. And when I'm taking it back, whatever the distance I have taken in the back, I'm going to move my needle the same distance ahead over here. Okay, so my needle is coming out like that. So this will be my stitch length. Okay, this will be my first stitch length. And the second, the length, it's hidden inside in the bottom of the fabric, but that stitch length, it will be the same of my first one. Okay. So now this is out. So my one stitch is done, but I have the space over here. I don't have a space. And the reason being, I'll be going back, taking it from the same hole of my previous one, and again moving, doing the same step that I did in the beginning. So I'm putting the needle inside, taking it ahead, the same length, okay, like this. So what will happen? This will become my second stitch. So it looks continuous, just like how we use a sewing machine. This is exactly the stitch that we get. I'll show it again. It's a back stitch. So this thread is ahead and you are going back and taking it from the same hole. It has to be in the same hole from where the previous thread is there. Okay, you do it like this and then again move further on. It's time consuming, but it still solves the purpose, especially when you have a lot of repairing to do, and that could be just a short distance, then it's not time consuming. And at least you don't have to give it to the dry cleaners and pay for it. Even if you don't have a machine, you still can use your needle and thread. Okay, so this is there. And I'll just do one more to show it. Okay, so back stitch, you go back, and you keep on going like this. Okay, so this looks exactly like how you have your sewing machine stitch to be done. So whoever hasn't got a machine can work with this towel. It's a little bit time consuming. And I can show you one more stitch, which is called a running stitch. Okay, so you can do that also. I'll just show you, I generally don't encourage people to do it, but if you get confused with back stitch, then this is a running stitch. So running stitches, you just do up and down. You control your stitch length, okay? You just go up and down like this. Yeah, and this you can go continuously, okay? You just go, but your stitch length has to remain the same. And once you have done your, suppose I'm doing the whole length over here, okay? So I'll be just doing continuously like that. And then on my return, I'll be filling up these spaces, the empty spots, okay? So this is my empty spot over here. So I'm coming back, taking my needle out to fill up the second empty spot. Okay, so I'll fill up this empty spot and I'll continue doing it, the same thing. So you keep on filling it. So this is also good. It's just that it doesn't give that good straight line that you get it with this back stitch. Okay, you see how it's gapping in between? It's a little bit crooked, but the purpose is same. So the choice is totally yours. For me, back stitch, definitely it's a top priority. But if in case you don't understand, you're more comfortable going faster also, it saves time. This one saves time because you're going one side then just continuing the other side. But this is time consuming, but very sturdy and strong. So the choice is totally yours. Okay, so this is for people, those who haven't got sewing machine can use this method. Okay, so now let's get to our sewing part of the towel. So whoever has the towel ready. Okay, so this is the bottom. Let me a little bit adjust my camera. I have this portable camera. It's very comfortable in the webcam for me to handle. And it's just that I'll have to keep on moving the camera to focus at various points. So bear with me. This is the bottom of my towel. I have this beautiful bow and a floral kind of a print, which has faded with time. But just like how I said, it's in a good condition. I can still wipe my hand with it. And this is the fabric that I have cut for 4 inches at the width, and the length of is 4 inches and the width is, according to the towel, 17 inches. Okay. So now when we are going to start sewing, I hope you've already set your machine with the matching thread, and then I'm all ready to start. Okay. So generally what happens when we want to finish our towel? Okay. So this towel is basically finished over here. Okay, so this is the front side of the towel. But if I go to the wrong side of the towel, the back side, so this fabric is sewn in along with the towel, and I have a seam. So it's not a raw edge. So how do we do this raw edge and we make it so neat outside? Okay, so that's actually the first step we have to do. The lace will come later on, and the zigzag sewing will be a later part. But first we have to sew this fabric to the towel piece. So when we are starting, this is the right side of our fabric, but all of you, please bring the wrong side of the fabric like this. So this is my wrong side. Okay, so you have to place, now this is your right side of the fabric. So your wrong side of the towel, match it with the right side of the fabric. And and just like how I said, you all were supposed to bring in your pins also. So let's pin it up. Pinning up helps because it doesn't allow the fabric to move while you're sewing. So once you are done, I will be sewing 1/2 inch. Okay, so my stitching width would be 1/2 inch. I know all my class students, they're very comfortable with a 1/4 stitch, and that 1/4 stitch is the edge of the presser foot. Okay, but those who are newcomers, I'll just show it. I'm moving to the camera to the machine now. So any person who's new, just to let you know what are the stitches that we are talking about. The side of the presser foot, this distance from the needle is 1/4 of an inch. And we have these marks on the machine, which shows us this is 1/2 inch, this is 3/8. It tells you the width of the seam allowance. Okay, that is how much ever you need to sew. So all these lines are guidelines for us sewing. So for my class, they're used to doing the 1/4 inch sewing, so they can follow that. And I will also see that if I can do 3/8, so go a little bit closer to your 1/4 inch guide. Okay, so now my stitching. So all of you just get to your machine and you can start sewing along with me. You all know about the back stitch that we need to do anytime we are doing a seam, the back stitch is needed. And what is a back stitch? For new people, sorry, just let me switch on the room light. So what is exactly a back stitch? Back stitch is a reverse stitch. So sometimes we have a knob over here, which shows a U shape, and sometimes we have it on this side, okay, some of the machines. But this U shape tells you that this is for the reverse, okay, the back stitch. So you can put whatever side the fabric you want to put. You put the towel side in the bottom, or you want to put the woven side on the top. That's completely up to you. So while you start sewing, you can start taking out your needles one after the other. So I'm going to do my back stitch now. I will be sewing a little bit fast just so that we can finish the entire towel. But you all know the drill. I'll just switch on the iron. Meanwhile, if anybody is using the iron, please switch it on so that it's warm enough. When we finish, we need to iron. I'm about to finish, so you've got to do your back stitch. Cut off your thread. And trim off the tail ends that you have of the thread so that your towel, as you are sewing, it gets a good finish. Now, before you go for your ironing part, what I want you to do, the other end, okay? So this is the sewn end and you have the other end. I want you to draw 1/2 inch line over there. That will be a folding. So what I want you to do while we'll be ironing, I'm going to do this final fold also, same time, okay? So that then I can switch off my iron. So just do 1/2 inch marking over here. If anyone has tailor chalk, you can use your pen, the ballpoint, if it's not a gel one, because I know a lot of you don't have this tailor chalk. Or you can use your kids' crayons also that time. Also, if you sharpen the end, you can use it. So this would be our folding line. when we'll be using the iron. So I'll be folding this line also at the same time. Okay. So now this is ready. Let's move to the iron part. Whenever we are doing any kind of edge sewing, it's a good idea to iron it because that way you get very neat finish. So this is where I'll be ironing my towel. Just steam iron, that'll be great. I've steamed ironed it really flat and nice. And now I'm going to fold in my 1/2 inch line and steam iron it so that it'll be really come out. The width of the fabric will really come out good. I did measure 1/2 inch, but just like as I'm sewing for so many years, I know what my 1/2 inch is. So you people can do 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. That's totally up to you. So my 1/2 inch is already done. You can take your iron out. Don't forget to do that. So this is exactly where I've reached. This is my sewing part. This is my fabric, okay? The towel, and this is my edge, 1/2 inch folded in, okay? So now this was my wrong side. This is actually my right side. So all of you should have your right side like this, and this should be going like this, okay? So I hope all of you have got that. Okay, once that is done, so what I want you to do, turn on your back side like this, okay? 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, you can just make a line over there for 1/2 inch. Just make a little bit. Okay, so that 1/2 inch is done. So I want you to fold it from that 1/2 inch line. The reason being why, because when we do it like this, you know, if I tell you to fold it from here, when it's hanging the towel, you get to see this edge. So just to play it safe, I moved a 1/2 inch away from it so that it sort of gets hidden behind like that. So it'll be coming like this. So you'll have a beautiful edging even on the wrong side of the towel too. And it looks nice like that, okay? So that's the reason. So you can go 1/2 inch, you can go 1/4 inch, whatever you people are comfortable. There's no hard and fast rule. It's just that it has to be some kind of a folding in so that the towel from the back side looks like it's got a piping, a binding on the edge. So let's do and pin up now. Now we're going to pin it up with the towel, okay, the main towel. So while you're pinning up, just make it a good point to first flatten it because we don't want it to pucker over here while we are sewing. So it's a good idea. You flatten it like this and you pin up, start pinning up from the center. Center and move towards your sides. So many people, they don't pin up, they start off, but then what happens, it goes crooked. So it's a good idea to put pins. Generally, we encourage people to do tacking if they are not comfortable sewing along with the pin. They're scared, so you can do hand tacking after pinning up and then go to your machine. So when I finish pinning up over here, just be sure that it's come out good on the wrong side also. Whenever we are doing sewing, even the back side of a fabric or the wrong side is also very important for the neatness, okay? So you see, you get a binding like this, which later on we can iron it. Once the product is finished, we can do that. But let's move like that and just check. If you feel your width is a little bit uneven, you can go back with your ruler, okay? You can check, okay, this is my 2-inch, this is my 2-inch or 3-inch, whatever is your measurement, the final one. So you can measure and you can open up the pins and move your this fabric a little bit further wherever it's needed so that you get a constant same size. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to do edge sewing. So whoever has done the mask sewing with me would know what edge sewing is. Inside we had done a seam, but this will be the edge sewing. So we are going to have a matching thread going with our fabric and we are going to sew. And when we'll start sewing, again, on the ends, we'll have a back stitch, okay, at both the ends. So back to the machine. I'm just keeping the clock in front of me so that I'm aware of the time. But I think so we are going good. If anybody has a question, please, you can unmute or you can put in the chat box. If Nisha can read it, that would be great. But most of my participants, they were used to coming, unmuting and asking me the question. You're welcome to do. Fatin, you can allow, Fatin or Mildred, whoever's hosting, you can allow, they are used to asking question. If in case their thread gets stuck or something, they like solving it immediately. And the others also get to learn from that. So everybody's doing good so far? Okay, so let's do the back stitch. So I'm going to start a little bit ahead than my the edge of the fabric. So go back stitch. And once you are done, then start doing it and do it very nicely, okay? You know how edge sewing has to be really on the edge of the fabric. So you're watching the needle and the edge of the fabric while you're sewing. So you have a pin over there, take it out. So I'm going to reach the other edge. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here and then do my back stitch, just 2-3 stitches. So I'm going to cut the thread. So this is what I'm getting, okay? So this is my towel end, and this is my edge of that fabric, okay? So the towel would be going like this, okay? So now what I want you people to do, now we have the lace to be put on top of this. So the lace also, if you people haven't cut your lace, you can just go with the length, whatever the width you have over here, okay? Use that. So this is a lace. Lace can be any kind, just like you don't have to be so hard and fast that it has to be 2 inch or 1 inch, whatever you have at home. And I did suggest that whoever has ribbon can bring in the ribbon and use that also, if in case you don't have a lace. So this lace, I've already cut one length, the width of my towel. I went a little bit longer because generally what happens when you are sewing, it gets pulled up and then you won't match up good. So I went a little bit wider. I actually had a scrap of lace, which I grabbed, and it turned out really good, for my 17-inch width. It's almost like 18 and a half inch wide. So I'm just going to start off a little bit ahead over here, and then I can cut off whatever is not needed later on. So now my lace is really wide. Same thing when I made my towel, the red one. So what did I do? I had my fabric over here. I left a space in between. Why? Because I wanted this fancy woven fabric. This was embroidered, a very ethnic kind. I wanted it to show more. So if I would put the lace over here, it'll cover all this embroidery part. So I put it a little bit higher. So I had the spacing, and then I did my zigzag sewing. Okay. So this zigzag sewing is not a hand embroidery. It's done on machine, but we can do, it's called a satin stitch. This is a satin stitch when we do hand embroidery. So we can do that. We can do buttonholing stitch. Whoever knows embroidery would know what I'm talking about, and they can finish the edge of the lace with that. Okay. Or if they have a small satin ribbon, they can put that and do your running stitch on it, or your back stitch. That'll look nice too. So this lace, I'm just going to go. I like a little bit covering a part of my woven fabric also, so that if it gets a little bit raised up, at least it doesn't show the towel. So I'm going half an inch. I'm just leaving a space half an inch, overlapping it to my actual fabric, and then I'm pinning up. Now the lace is transparent. I can see it. Okay. So I use some kind of a design. Okay. I measure it with a ruler. I say, okay, where is it exactly my half an inch? Okay. So it's this hole. So I'll be following this hole and pinning up my lace to the towel. So this is my design that I'm going to follow, this hole. And at the same time, I'll start pinning up the edge of the lace. So I don't have to pin up over here because I already know it's at the right spot. So one spot, this is actually where we'll be sewing. So this needs to be tackled. So we'll be going like this. So you can put more pins because lace is a little bit delicate. And now what we need to do is we need to go the contrast thread, because we are going to do the zigzag sewing, which I want you to use a contrast thread. So I did ask in my sewing list that you have to have a contrast thread. So if you, in case you have it, I would like you to change it on your machine. So I'm also going to do it. Okay, so I went for this color, okay, for my contrast. So I already filled up my bobbin, okay, so that I'm ready to go. So most of the students, I've noticed that you already have attended my class, how to change your bobbin in the shuttle. So you're already aware of it, but I'm still showing. I know Sangeeta, she has a Canadian machine. She's want to get a little bit familiar with it. She's already aware of doing it. So we just shared something which she didn't know much about. So that was nice. So she might join our future classes. So I'm putting the new bobbin, the one I needed. So I need to change my top thread also. I'm not moving the camera, just like how I said, you people know how to tackle that. Sorry, my thread has got a little bit twisted. I bought these threads from Amazon and there's so much, the fiber ends are so interfering, especially to put in the needle. The Gutermann threads are the best that you get it from Walmart. But you know, when we had the lockdown, I had to order these threads online. They stitch well, but it's just the ends are so fibrous kind. So putting it in the needle, it's not so easy. Okay, so it's done. Still getting twisted.
Bindya,
Yes.
Vijaya has a quick question. He's asking, if they have a thin lace, can they use that instead?
Thin lace is how it is. Vijay, if you can show it, I can have a look. Thanks, Nisha.
My pleasure.
Yeah, Vijay, you can show. Yeah, Vijay, that's good. You know, so what you can do, you have a narrow lace, so just put it a little bit higher to your actual fabric, okay? Yeah, so you have a very thin one. So what you can do, like suppose this is your fabric over here. So just use it a little bit higher to it, because when you'll do it exactly on it, then doing that zigzag thing, it might not come out so good because of the thickness of fabric. So you can go a little bit higher and just do zigzag. That's fine. Even if it goes on the lace, it'll still look beautiful. Okay. So Vijay, it'll be good. Yeah. So thin lace, it's just that it's less wider. I was thinking thin is like, you know, how you have the chiffon or silken kind of a lace, but it's narrow, but no problem. So you just put it and you can start sewing on the lace. It'll still look nice. Okay. And just like how I said, I'll be showing you what kind of zigzag I'm going to use and what I used in my towel. But most of you people don't have that thicker one. You have those VV shaped. I'm going to show it which one you people can use. I can show it right now. I'm going to switch back the camera. Okay, so now this machine has got 59 different kind of stitches. Okay, so this I've already shown this machine, how it works, the digitized kind, which I don't want to repeat because you already are aware of it. If there's any newcomer, I'll be mentioning my email ID so that you people can get in touch and have one-on-one session with me if needed, okay? So now what all stitches I have, most of you people have the stitches which are zigzag like this. Okay, so what I want you people to do, you just take any one of those zigzag stitch, whatever you are finding it fancier, pick that up and adjust your knob. So now over here, we need that adjustments. So all of you make your adjustments. For me, I have done, this is the width, you know how you have the width of on your machine. So you can, mine is adjusted 3.5, you can go 2 point, you can go 3, I think so 3.5 to 3 is okay. Like, so go 3 to 3.5. And the length of my stitch is 2.5. You can go to 3. So 2.5 to 3 is good. Okay, so this is the stitch length. Stitch width, I have gone 3 to 3.5. And even when you start sewing, before that, if you want to experiment on your rough fabric, you can do it before you put it in the sample. I'll just give you 5 minutes to work on that, okay? And that's it. So my machine now, I'm going to go 42, because that's what I used for my towel. So I'm going to change my number at 00 for my straight stitch. So I'm going 42, okay? So 4, and then I'm going to change this number 42. Okay, but all of you don't have a digitized machine. You have the knob, so move it. And before you go it on the actual fabric, I want you to just experiment in a little bit rough fabric to see if the stitches are coming out good. And if any problem is happening, please let me know right now, okay? So I'll give you 5 minutes to work on that. Change your thread also, the matching.
Bindya, I have a question.
Yes, Vijaya, go ahead, please.
So are we putting the lace as well as the ribbon or just one?
No. Ribbon, I just told who don't have a lace, they can put a ribbon. If you're putting a ribbon, then we don't need the zigzag machine, okay, sewing. Because I wanted to, remember when we're doing these classes, I said learn them because I'll be using it in some of my products that we'll be gradually doing, okay? So the zigzag sewing is sort of a revision of that, actually where you can use it. So that's why I put it in the towel like that, you know, the zigzag. But if you have a ribbon, you can put a ribbon and then you don't have to go for zigzag sewing. Okay, so just like how you have a lace, so what you can do instead of doing zigzag, you can just put the lace and on top of that, put the ribbon and sew it. So that'll look nice too, even
I have ribbon as well, so this ribbon.
Sure, yeah, just switch on your camera.
Can you see?
Hold on, Richard, now you disappeared because I can just have 4 people on the screen right now. So let me go to you. Yeah, oh, that ribbon is really broad.
Oh.
That is really broad for a towel. Do you have a thinner one? I know some lady had given you a lot of her accessories.
This one?
That is beautiful. That is nice. So if you have a broad like that, that's almost like a 1 inch. Okay. So then what I generally recommend, you sew on one side. So you need 2 sewings or 2 on both the edge because it's very wide. Yeah. If you would have just had a 1/4 inch, then just a single sewing would have kept it steady. So you can use that and you'll have to sew it on both the sides. So what you can do, you can, just like how I put the lace in over here, you can put that ribbon. Okay, so start it from that. Yeah, that's 3/4 kind. Yeah, you can use that. Whatever matches with your towel, it's good. Okay, so instead of doing zigzag, and even on, if you remember when I did my class, I showed zigzag. Remember, I did it even on the ribbon too. So satin, so what you can do the zigzag on one edge that it's going on the lace, and later on you can finish up the other edge just using the same zigzag. It'll look nice.
Okay.
So halfway you'll have the ribbon and halfway you'll have the fabric, just like how we did in the class. I said keep the needle steady in the center so that half of the stitch, you know, because it's going like that, both direction. So half will cover the fabric and half will cover the ribbon. Okay, got it, Vijaya, if you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay. So now if you people, give it a try first on the rough fabric, because even I'm also going to see how the color, because this is a new color which I took out. I'm just going to change the camera, switch it. Anybody else has any question? That would be great. Okay, so now I'm just going to tie the stitch on and see how it's working. Yeah, so that looks good to me. Okay. So you need to check from here and you need to check the bottom also.
Hello. Hello, is it good? Hamdia? Hi, Hamdia, how are you? I'm Maggie from Jump Scarborough.
Oh, Maggie, just mute yourself, please. Okay, let me mute.
We have, last minute a space open for the food handling training. And
sorry, I'll just mute Maggie.
Interested. It's online.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. She's also working, so I know she's a regular student of our online classes, but she's working same time. So yeah. Okay, so now the machine is ready. Okay, so for me, both side my stitch has come out good. This is my actual one. And you need to check your bottom also to see if the stitch is not puckering or something like that. If you're having that issue, just let me know. So if you have set up your machine, I'm going to start. And for this one, you don't need a back stitch. Okay, so you can start right from the edge and go. I'm going to take my pin out. Bring your presser foot down. And just like how my needle now a little bit off center. Okay, but I'm going to match my lace, the edge of the fabric, according to the center of my presser foot. Okay. So that you have to be very careful because you want to catch both the thing. You want to catch the towel and the lace too. So if in case you want, you can just set in your needle in the center, but don't do it with your thread on because then it might get stuck in the shuttle. Okay, so just watch your needle and put your foot center on the lace, wherever you want it to be sewn. Okay, and now we can start off. And just go slow, because when we are doing all these zigzag sewing and all that, you have to go slow. Don't push your towel because it's time consuming because your machine, the needle is traveling like this. So it won't move so fast as you are doing your basic stitch, the straight stitch. Okay. So just give it time. But if it's getting stuck at one spot after a minute, then just let me know. It could be possible that your bobbin case, it's catching up all the thread from the bobbin. So that shouldn't happen. So let's start off and we are ready to See, it's going so slow, like I've just reached so less because the stitch is so thick. So this is the stitch I'm actually doing, the one I had the picture on. So this is, see how much time consuming because it's filling up this empty space and then moving to the next one. So that's why it'll take time. But you people have that zigzag, it'll go more faster than what I'm doing. So all of you check if the stitch is coming okay on this side. This is the time consuming part in your sewing. I'm a little bit lifting my presser foot because sometimes when it's puckering, so you have to be a little bit, because the lace is very delicate as compared to the rough surface of the towel. So if in case you feel it's a little bit folding in, you can lift up your presser foot, but leave your needle inside to adjust it. So I've reached the other end.
Yeah, that's starting to look good. Like,
That's looking good. Thank you.
yeah, like the thread pattern looks cool. Like, can you use other patterns as well?
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what, it sort of brightens it up also, Mildred, because see, like these are all old towels. Like if you really see it, these are actually old towels. So these darker shades, tones, it just sort of brightens it. Like, see, this is a dull one, but just having a contrast, like a fabric, a more floral and, you know, beautiful kind, and you have a lace. And just like, see, some of them just have a satin ribbon. So even putting a satin ribbon and then having a contrast edging going on, I would definitely like, you know, I've already told my class participants, and once the product is done, we'll do a you know, screenshot. Generally, when we did the mask, we had a group, so almost 8 of them, like we joined in somewhere off camera. So 8 of them who really did it and wanted to come on the camera, we did a screenshot. So I had 2 batches of classes for fast-paced mask, and it turned out so nice. So I today requested, I don't know how much they'll be able to finish because some of them are working too. So it'll be a good idea for, let's see what they have made. They've done their best. So yeah, it looks nice. That's what I'm saying. With this domestic machine, you can do so many fancy things, and these are repurposing. That's what purpose of solid-based programs, all they are having for this reason only. So yeah. So this is done. So we still have to finish the edging. And if anybody wants to take 5 minutes break, let's do that. And you want to go use the washroom, you want to grab something to eat, to munch in the class, you're welcome to do it. And then I'll continue and I'll show you how the edge is done. And we are good with the time. We'll be finishing the program almost like 10:50, so that 11 o'clock program they can take over from us. So we'll be leaving the class 10 minutes earlier. So try finishing off your towel, and we still have to do the screenshot together. Okay, so let's take the 5 minutes break. And if in case I'm still around, if in case anybody has any question, you can ask me. I'm still around, okay?
Okay. Bindya, I have a question. So when I cut the towel, one edge is still like raw. So what will we do with that edge? Will it stay like that?
So you know what happened when I did this towel? Okay, when I did this. So what I did, I kept the other end. I used the edge of the towel. So still, see, it's so fancy. I still could get it. So this would be my back side, okay, like the other side of the towel. So I used that side. But when I was cutting this one, the old towel of mine, in this, I didn't have, I had this raw edge, a frayed edge like that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't use that corner, because if I would use that corner, I would have lost that bouquet shape. You know, this is actually a bouquet. The shape that this is the other end of the towel. So I like the shape. So I said, Phil, I'll use the frayed edge. It doesn't look so good. Also, the other towel, at least the edge was good. You know, it had some kind of a design on it. So then, so for me, it is all my 4 edges are raw. Okay, so all my 4 edges are raw. I'm going to show you how we'll be finishing that finally. So right now, that's why I gave the break. So now it'll be all our final sewing. That is how we'll be doing finishing the 3 sides of a towel. Okay, so that part is still yet to come.
Okay.
So I don't know, some might have a little bit thicker fabric. Like for me, this one was thick. This fabric was really thick. So what I did, I'm going to show you in the class, like what exactly I did when you have a thick towel. When I have a thin towel like that, I can still do double fold, okay, and do it on this machine, the domestic. But for this one, I just went single fold, but I did something else, which I'm going to share. So let's let it be a part of it, and your edge would be finished. That I'm going to show it. Definitely, we need the edge sewing. Otherwise, I know the towel doesn't fray much, but still, it's some of them, the thread might little bit come out. You know, see, it came out in this. In this towel, it doesn't come out, even if it's raw edge. But we don't want, we want it to look nice, a whole complete finished product, just like how we did the face mask. It looked so nice when we finished it. So, yeah. Yeah, so just to share, I know Sangeeta is new. I don't know who all have joined, but we made these face masks in the class. So I had shown them how to draw it. They cut it themselves, and this is reversible. You can wear it both ways, okay? So one way you can wear, or with matching with your dress, you can come and wash it, and the next day, whenever you're going out, you can use it, okay? So we sewed it, we drafted it together, and we did the snapshot with this, yeah.
Yeah, so, and Bindya, so if they're interested in how to make their own mask, like they can get in touch with you.
Mildred, can you be a little bit loud? Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, so if they're interested in making their own mask, learning how to improve their skills, like they can get in touch with you later.
Yeah, definitely. I did 2 batch of 6 classes where the drafting of the mask was taught, how to cut it also, because a lot of time what happens, they learn from me, but they need to get the pattern, okay, this thing, template. So I taught them how to do it with just a piece of paper and cut the pattern and put it on the fabric. So they followed every step with me. And so I already did 2 batches of different classes, because we had another community people, their new group joining us. So we did it along with them. But Mildred, just like how I said, my email is there with you. They can get in touch with me. I do one-on-one sessions for repairing of machines and for the alteration. So that person can get back to me, and then I can sort of work out if we'll have a little bit group coming in. Then I'll just give 2 days classes where I'll be teaching them how to do the template and the sewing part. Okay. And this too, we made a video for 2 of our buildings where we are located. That video is yet to be shared with Jed, but the recording is already done. We have to edit it. And in that, I've shown a hand stitch. So the whole mask is done by hand stitch. The demonstration I did in the beginning, it's the same stitch that can be used, and the whole mask can be done even without a sewing machine. Okay, so that 1 minute video, we are going to share it. We'll see how good it is so that we can share it with your group. But any kind of help needed, I'm always there. Okay, Mildred, because they'll need it for the whole year. I see it. And you'll be surprised. I just have 2 masks since last August. When we went for the global news presentation, I had the telecast recording happening. I just have 2, and I've never went to any disposable mask, and I've saved so many masks going in the garbage. And the same thing with my class too. They love it. And now they don't want to touch that because these are breathable masks, because these are cotton fabric. Okay, so they turn out a good collection. So it'll be very nice, Mildred, if they can want to learn from me. It's something good. Yeah.
Thank you, Bindya. We'll share Bindya's contact on the chat later.
Yeah, that'll be great, because then they can get in touch with me. And just to let you know, Mildred, I have repaired so many machines going one-on-one with them on WhatsApp, and so many problems they had. They were planning to even dispose of the machines. Some of them hadn't even taken out from the closets. They have taken it out and solved the problem, and now they are being a part of my sewing classes. So any kind of technical help, any alteration, repairing, everything I do on WhatsApp, one-on-one, especially those a little bit slow learners. When my class is going on, they get confused. So it could be just 15-20 minutes extra with them on WhatsApp, and they understand. Okay, so yeah. So let's get back to the class. Thank you, Mildred, for talking it out. Yeah, this is a way, we can spread words online. It's become a good asset for all of us, actually, to teach much more people in the community, outside our community. So yeah, it's a different kind of experience, but luckily we are doing good and helping people out. And we are having a class because of support of our own people, the community resident, and, yeah. So it's good. So let's get back to our class. And I don't know, there are 2 people, the new people have joined in. So I don't know whether they are, I can see new people. I think so might be from the Black Free community. Welcome, all of you. And so I'm just going to start, switch the window. And before I do switch the camera, I'll show you what exactly we are going to do now. So see, this is the towel, the old one which I had done for the photo shoot. So now this is the new one that we did. Okay, new one in the class. Okay, so now if you notice, we have all this, the bottom is finished good. Okay, it's already done. But we have 3 sides which are all open. Okay, they're raw edges. So we need to finish them. If you people have a thick towel, like for me, this was the thick towel, okay? But this one I'm using, it's a thin towel. So any hemming that is to be done, my regular class students, they would know the hemming that we've already learned on the sewing machine, the basic, for the beginners, I had that class. So we will be doing that hemming over here. So for the thicker fabric, I will be just doing a single fold. And if I'll be doing a single fold, I want the edge to still stay smoothly. So I'm going to do the zigzag sewing. And that zigzag sewing will be very wide. Okay, it's just so that to stop any thread coming out from the edge of the towel. Okay, so that will be a zigzag. But for this one, I have a thin towel. For the thin towel, I can do my double fold, which was again a part of the sewing class. So you can do your double fold. So check your fabric and don't forget, we are not dealing only with that towel. We are thinking about this fabric thickness too. So will I be able to do 2 times? That you need to check. If it's not 2 times, if it's too thick for your sewing machine, then you can just go with the zigzag sewing. Okay. So let me first show the zigzag sewing, how we can do it. And let me be sure if I can do on that domestic machine. Yeah, I should be good. I think so. Yeah. So let's move to the machine and I'm going to do the demo of both kind of seams. Okay, so I'm going to do a rough fabric. So watch me doing just on the rough fabric. I'm not going to do in the actual fabric right now. So I'm going to first tackle the orange one. The orange one was much more thicker. The red one that I did for my class, that's the one I'm talking about. So I'm just going to take a scrap from that end and show it. So that is the edge, okay, the cut edge. I'll go a little bit further. So this is my cut edge, okay? See all the threads coming out? Okay. Now I'm planning to do my zigzag over here. So whoever has a machine, please see me because if you remember, I had this overcrowded kind of a zigzag. I don't want to do it. I want to do the spaced one, okay? This kind of stitch saves my thread also. And at the same time, it gives me a good clean finish for my raw edge. So I want all of you to adjust. I know most of you, I don't know, I didn't get to see your towel, but have used the zigzag. So if you want to still stick to the same one, you can. I'm going to change my number over here. It's digitized machine. So I'm going to go 03. Okay, so 0 and 3 over here. So my number is set to 03 over here. Okay, and now the stitch length. Now my stitch length is 2. I want my stitch length to go a little bit wider, okay, the spacing. So I might go to 2.5. But just like how I said, first experiment on a rough fabric when you actually, before you go into your actual fabric, the product that you're sewing. So this is 2.5. Now my stitch width is 5. That is too wide for me. Okay, I'm going to switch to 4. I'm going to switch 4. Now, wide is the width, how it's traveling. Okay, so that's a width. So this thing is set up and I'm all ready to go. So this is where my stitch is going to come. Now, when you were doing it on the towel, you had both the edges of the fabric. So your stitch was good. But when you're doing it just on the edge, okay, you have to do a zigzag on the edge. Then see to it that your machine, the needle doesn't go outside it while you're sewing. Okay, you don't want it to go outside and get stuck with the bobbin and inside the shuttle over here. So try keeping the fabric on top. So while you're moving, you don't have to be so precise. It's just that the edge will be finished. So we will be finally doing another stitch will sort of stop any kind of fraying. Okay, so don't worry about it. But zigzag is a sort of a little bit extra sewing that you're doing so that no fraying happens at all. And this will be just for a single fold hemming. That's why we are doing the zigzag. If you're doing double fold, then we don't need it, which I'm going to do a demo after this. Okay, so let's do the zigzag. Okay. So now zigzag is sort of a substitute for your serger. If you have a domestic serger, you can do that. But who hasn't got a serger for a domestic machine, I tell them to use the zigzag. Okay. So you're doing the zigzag and see it's traveling on my fabric only. If you see it over here, it's going on my fabric and not going on the edge of the machine like that. So let's keep on doing. I'll just do a little bit and then show you what we are going to do. Okay, so now this thing is done. I'm just cutting it, but you'll be finishing it completely till the end. Okay, so now this is the stitch I've already done because you can see it. Yeah, you can see. So you do see these threads coming out, but it's fine because they'll stop sometime. Okay. Now, when this is done, that what I want you to do just turn it one time. Okay, so we'll be turning it one time like this, and this already has the zigzags going. And then for the actual towel, we'll be putting it like this, okay, which I'm going to show you when we'll be tackling the big towel. But this is just to a demo. So before you start, again, a back stitch is needed because it's actually a straight stitch that will be happening now. Now for the straight stitch, I need to go back again to my adjustment and go to my straight stitch. So my straight stitch is 0, 0. Okay, so I need to switch back because if I don't do it, okay, so I've gone 0, 0. Okay, so this is 0, 0 over here set. So now this will be just a regular sewing. So I'll do my back stitch. So back stitch 1, 2 is good enough. And then I'm going straight. So this again, I'm going into the edge sewing. Remember we did the edge sewing when we were doing the second fabric. We're putting it on the towel, that edge sewing. The same stitch is needed over here. So we are doing the edge stitching. So then what happens now, your frayed edge is done properly. You first did the zigzag and then you did your edge sewing. Okay, so it's good enough for you to have the edge of the towel finished. So this is now your stitched over here. Okay, so you're finished it and that's your finished edge over here. Okay. So your towel edge is done. Now this is for the single fold. Now when we are going for the double fold, this is for the thinner fabric, the thinner towel that you have. So in this one, I'm not going to do a zigzag because this is very thin. I can tackle it with my domestic machine. So I just do a small, a 1/4 inch fold, and I'll go again a 1/4 inch fold, and I'm going to do my edge sewing. So for this one, we'll be pinning up for the class. Okay, so I'm just doing a demo like that. So you bring it down. Again, you go with your reverse stitch. Just 1, 2 stitches good. And then I'm going to go straight down. And again, on the edge sewing. Okay, so this is my folding in. And this will be my stitching going on the towel. Okay, you can see the brown thread over here. And because it's got a pile weave, this is pile weave, so you don't get to see much the thread over here. It gets hidden inside the towel pile. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing when you have a thin fabric. Okay, so and moreover, I need all of you to change the thread also. Now you have to go matching with your towel, the thread. I don't want to do the contrast one because then the zigzag, it won't give that clean look. Okay, so all of you change your thread also and go matching with the towel. So I have my matching thread. So I'm changing the bobbin also. Change the top thread too. Okay, so my machine is ready now. So let me switch, just change the direction of the camera so that I'll show you how you need to pin up, because I want all of you to pin up before we start so that at least you'll get the good stitching on the edge. So now you'll be starting from this end, okay? The one that is already finished, we'll be using this end. So if you're left-handed, right-handed, just see whatever you are comfortable with. And if you'll notice, I have these extensions. So whenever we are sewing 2-3 different kind of fabrics, we generally, sorry. So we generally have these raw edges. So we need to straighten them out. Okay. So what I'm just doing, trimming it. Okay, to make it smooth, straight line. I'm going to check the other side also. Remember, my lace was a little bit extra. So I'm just going to cut off and go straight. Because what will happen when I'll fold it like that, this is not going to work out good. So I need to straighten my edges. Okay, so this is done. Now I can start folding and start pinning up also. Now this is my thin fabric. So I'm going to do double fold like that, okay? But if you want me to do the zigzag, what would you like? You want to do the zigzag and then just do a single fold? What you want people to see me doing it? Today my class is so quiet. Okay, let's do the zigzag. I think so. You want to do the zigzag way or the double fold?
Zigzag.
Zigzag? Okay, great. Who's that? Claudette?
Yes.
Thanks, Claudette.
Yes, Bindya.
Okay, Claudette, yeah, I was sharing with Mildred. Claudette is actually from the LAMP Community Center. And this was the new team joined to learn the face mask from us. It was special request because they had wanted to volunteer and so for the community. So they did the class with me. So yeah, welcome, Claudette.
Good day. Sure,
Okay,
thanks.
yeah. Okay, so now even for the zigzag too, we have to have the same matching thread as to our fabric. So let's go all together and set up your machine, okay? Because I changed it into a straight stitch, so I need to go back to my zigzag feature. So now going back to my zigzag feature is again going 0 to, I'm going to go 3. Okay, so 3 number I'm going to do. So this will be my 3. Okay, so I've already set for 3. And the length and width I've already set. So all of you do it if in case you need help. But just like how I said, my class participants, they have really become comfortable with the machine now. I just have to speak and they know. But if anybody new has joined in, please don't hesitate to check up if any help is needed. So I think so I'm good to go. Nobody's asking any questions, so we'll start. Okay, let me move the camera a little bit out of my way. Okay, so now what we are going to do, this is our good edge, and we are going to go all 3 sides. Okay, so let's start from one end. And while you are doing it, no back stitch is needed for the zigzag. You can continue sewing. And just see to it that your needle doesn't go out of your towel, okay? We want it to stay inside. But generally what happens, sometimes you keep it too much inside also. So just see to it that it stays more closer to the edge, but not falling off, okay? Then not going out of your towel. Okay, so I'm sewing, so you people are watching and you continue doing your work also. So this is already done. Okay, so you can see it a little bit on my this edge. See, you can see that's exact. So this is what how close it should be to your edge. In this, it's matching with the fabric, so you don't get to see, but this is what it exactly needs to be done. Okay, so you need to stay inside. So I'm going to sew fast so that we'll be able to finish our towel. And check also in between your stitches is coming good or not, because sometimes may happen your thread might have broken from the bobbin inside and you are sewing and you'll realize it in the end it didn't work at all. So now I'm reaching the corner. I'll go till the end and pivot. Okay, I'm going to show what pivoting is. So once I reach that corner, okay, you leave your needle down. Pivoting means you have to now turn your fabric. So in order to do it, you leave your needle down and you raise your presser foot. Okay, that's called pivoting. And you turn it like that. So what happens, your fabric hasn't moved, it has stayed in the same position because of the needle already inside the fabric. If you, in case you take it out, what will happen, you might start off from somewhere and your continuity of the sewing breaks. Okay? So for that reason, you need to pivot, leave your needle inside, you turn the direction of your fabric, bring down your presser foot and start sewing. This is presser foot, okay? So you start sewing.
Excuse me, Bindya.
Yes.
When I cut mine, I kind of left a self edge at the bottom, so at least I didn't have to. So just leave that alone. I'll still turn.
Yeah. If you have a salvage, that's a very good thing that you showed. I'll just explain what salvage is exactly. So let me just turn the camera, switch it. Okay, so she's talking about a salvage. So salvage is the edge of a towel where you haven't cut. So you can leave as it is because that won't fray. And when you'll be doing your actual sewing, you can just turn it and finish that edge. Okay, so whoever has salvage, like her Claudette had cut one side, she has a salvage. So leave it as it is. You don't have to do zigzag, but you need to do it in the other two sides, which has got the raw edge. So good, Claudette, to mention that. It's something good to know that, you don't need to do the zigzag. So let's continue and finish off our other sides. Nisha, is there any question which needs to be discussed about in the chat box?
No, none that I see.
Okay,
none
great.
That were...
Yeah,
Did
if
you
any
address,
comments are needed, for the chat box, you can add. And Nisha, if you could kindly give my email ID, that will be great. Just mention my name, Bindya, and my email, please. Thank you. I thought I'll do it, but they want us to finish 10 minutes earlier for the other batch to start. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's not a problem. No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. And okay, so Nisha will be putting my email ID over there. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, please do that, and then I can further on correspond with you. Now I've reached my other corner. So again, I'm going to reach exactly at the corner over there and pivot. Okay, so leave my needle down, pivot from there. So this is my last edge, the raw edge. I'm going to reach my other end and I'll be done with the zigzag sewing. So I finished doing my zigzag sewing. Okay, so that was my last bit. Okay, last for my zigzag. And then you can cut your thread from there and so now you have zigzag going. So this was your good edge. So now I have zigzag going all around these 3 sides. Okay. So then I'll be done with that. And now we can start us other sewing. Okay. So the other side sewing. So for this one, I'll just show you. You just have to go a ½ inch or a ¼ inch folding. That's totally up to you. So I'm going roughly ½ inch folding. And before that, I think, so let's tack it. Will you people be able to sew, or you need the tacking part? If you want, you can pin up. But I'm just going to start off because we have 10 minutes more to go. We want to finish off the towel. So I'm just going to start showing, okay? So now this is my wrong side, okay? This is my wrong side of the towel. This is my good side. Okay, this is my good side. So I have to go on my wrong side, okay? Where you can just see the zigzag happening. So we have to reach over here and then you fold it. I'm more comfortable doing it the other way. So I'm going to start from this side, okay? Because I like folding it and going this. Okay. So now fold it your ½ inch. Okay, just a single fold, because now that we have done zigzag, we don't have to do double fold. And before you start, just do a back stitch. Okay, so push in your fabric. It might be a little bit thicker. It depends on what fabric you used. Okay, so you can see my zigzag happening over here. And now before doing that, change your numbers. Remember, we did the zigzag. Now we have to go straight stitch. So all of you change back your number to the original. And the stitch length is good. The stitch width, we don't have to worry about because it's just a straight stitch. Okay, so just change your knob from zigzag going to straight stitch. And let's do a back stitch in the beginning. So just 2, 3 is good. And now I can start off my straight stitch. And now this, you can do it at the edge of the fabric or a little bit away from the edge. That's totally your own choice, but it'll still come out good. You can cut off this extra thread, the tail that is hanging. And let's continue sewing. Now, when the lace and everything is coming, you have to little bit flatten it, okay? So just go with it, you know, because you have your lace coming or ribbon or whatever you have used. Just see it doesn't overlap, okay? It should be flat when you're sewing. Now, this is the easy part because I don't have to tackle any thickness. Now, I'm just going to go straight. Okay, so my fold is almost, it's actually 3/8 of an inch, but you can go ½ inch, a ¼ inch. That is the beauty of it. You have the zigzag, you don't have to worry about the fraying. Threads might come out in the beginning, but that's it. So now when I'm reaching the corner, please don't go till the end, because don't forget we have this raw edge also to be folded in. So we just fold it straight down like this, and then hold the corner with your 2 fingers, and then just fold it in. Okay. So once you reach that, just fold it in over here. And we are going to reach where the folding is meeting with the other folding. Reach over here, and then we are going to do either a back stitch, or you can go turn your machine and go over there. Okay, you can do a back stitch also when you reach that spot. So I'm going to reach that corner edge. So I'm going to go, and you have to be very careful because you haven't pinned up, you haven't tagged up. So just push it nicely because it tends to open up. Yeah, so I've reached that point. Okay, so I've reached it over here, and I'm going to again pivot. So my needle is still staying inside, and I'm going to do my back stitch. Okay, so I'm going to do my back stitch. So that corner, whatever was the folded part, will get sewn in. And now I can continue sewing straight. These are little tricks that you've got to do, and you learn it with experience. Now again, I'm reaching another corner. I need to fold. Okay, so this folding is already complete. So I'm going to fold back again the other side. And you need to hold it, okay, nicely. And be careful with your fingers when you're holding any of these fabrics. So I'm reaching that. And I'm not going till the edge of the towel, okay? Just remember, don't go at the edge. It's just that where 2 folds are meeting, and then you leave your needle inside and pivot, okay? So you pivot and you turn for your last direction that's going down. So now bring down your presser foot and start your back stitch, okay? That's good. And then again, you start off coming straight. So I'm reaching the end. Again, be careful with your lace and ribbon and fold it nicely. And level it good in the bottom when you're reaching, because you don't want the edge to look dirty from down. Okay, so now when you're reaching the end, just do your back stitch. And we are done. So trim off any of your extra threads to make it go neater. Clip it from the other end too. And our towel is ready. Okay, so I'm just going to show the other camera. Okay, so our towel is done. That's the wrong side. This is your right side. Okay, so your towel is done. So what I was thinking, if you people can share the screen, I don't know, for the screenshot, whatever, wherever you reach, it's fine. Okay, so we can share it. Maggie, I don't know, Maggie, Vijaya, the source.
Oh,
If you
sorry,
can.
busy at work. I'm
know, you
watching,
know
I'm
what?
watching.
I know when you got your call, I was thinking, I said, you know what, the timing is such
Sorry.
that a lot of people, they couldn't, yeah, so it's okay. Nisha, you can just take the screenshot. So yeah, so I'm going, I'm stopping this screen share so that then I can get the entire gallery view. So that will be great. Yeah, take the screenshots if you can, Nisha. Yeah. So whoever, Vijaya, please, I know some of them, they will join in. Nina, great. Thank you. Yeah, okay, great. Oh, Vijaya, it came out good. The ribbon is looking nice. Claudette, come on, let's share. Hold it, okay? Let's take the screenshot. Claudette, come on.
Guys, hold
wait,
on.
wait,
I'm
one
just going to
second, one
take pictures
second.
of each one, okay? Give me 1 second.
Yeah. And
I'm
yeah,
going to take pictures of each one. Just give me 1 minute, okay?
take the screenshot on the laptop. That'll be great.
One second.
It doesn't allow me because I'm not the host, so it won't
Not
allow me
interest.
to.
Oh, the screenshot, you won't get it?
I'm taking, don't worry, I'm taking a screenshot.
Yeah, Mildred, take the screenshot because they come out good than the recording itself. Perfect. Yeah,
They're
Nina, show it.
beautiful.
Yeah,
They're very
Okay.
beautiful.
very nice. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Great.
You see mine, Binda?
Yeah, beautiful, Nina. Loved it. Thank you so much, all of you. Great, and we are done. And thank you so much, Black Creek Community Farms, for allowing us to have the sewing workshop.
Yeah,
We
that's a
really
beautiful
enjoyed
job.
it, and thank you so much to all the participants.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Bindya.
Great.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you so much.
Have a good
So
day.
we